Happy Thursday, everyone. Dr. Boyce Clark of Lubricity Labs. Thank you guys so much for the tremendous number of questions and the huge outpour of love for our products. And tonight we're going to answer a lot of your questions, and because some of them were duplicates, we've grouped them together. But have no fear, our customer love team will be answering every one of the questions on the Facebook site. So if we don't get to your question tonight, if you don't feel like it was specifically addressed, it will be. Also, we will be announcing the winner of our Lubricity System Box tonight. So make sure you stay tuned. You don't have to be tuned in to win, but I'm sure you'll want to see if you did win and who won. Okay, so we have consolidated these questions into groups and, like I said, paraphrased a lot of them. But let's start with the first one. This was a question from Lynn. Hi, doctor. With all your study of hair, what causes frizz? I feel like I've gotten older. As I've gotten older, my frizziness has gotten worse. And how much damage do things like chemical treatments do to my hair? Okay, so, this all started with my daughter's hair being frizzy and myself as a scientist trying to figure out what's causing the hair to be frizzy. So, in general, hair is going to be frizzy from two main things, and that's going to be water being absorbed into it, and the other is mechanical and chemical damage. So the reason that your hair gets frizzy in places that are humid is because the humidity, the water vapor in the air, is absorbed into your hair because the outer layer, the cuticle, is not protective, and the water is able to absorb in, and the center of the hair begins to swell. But it doesn't swell uniformly. It doesn't swell evenly along it. It swells in one spot and not in another. Swells in one spot, not in the other. This produces a kink along that strand of hair. When you have thousands of hairs that are doing this, the result is frizz. So that is the primary reason that frizz is caused by. Another main reason is also chemical and mechanical damage to the hair. So when the hair is wet, is at a very vulnerable state. So when your hair is wet, you should not comb it aggressively. You should be very gentle because breakage to your hair when it's wet is much more likely than when it's dry, because it's much stronger when it's dry and not swollen. So even the act of aggressively towel drying your hair after you shampoo it can damage the cuticle, that's the outer layer, and then produce frizz. Also, chemical treatments that are aggressive, things like coloring the hair, relaxers, perms, things like this, they all involve lifting the cuticle and doing something to the hair, either changing it, straightening it, adding curl to it in the case of a perm, adding color to it, and then the attempt to lay the cuticle back down, but it's not always successful. In fact, it's never going to be successful for all parts of the hair. So therefore, using a product like Lubricity that is going to be designed to make your hair not absorb water and to lay the cuticle down is going to be what helps control frizz. It's also the added side effects we talked about are the fact that it's going to give you tremendous shine and manageability with your hair. When the cuticles are laying flat, light bounces off and goes in all directions. When it's lifted up, it goes in all directions. So we perceive that as being dull. When your cuticle is laying flat and smooth like a mirror, the light bounces back to the eye, and we see that as full richness of color and lots of shine. So these are all things that you would want to have, and these are things that our products do for you. Okay. Number 2 question from Claire. How did you come up with this thing? It's amazing. So if you're not familiar with our origin story, my daughter, who is now 14, who was 12 at the time when I developed the system, had insane hair. And as a single parent, I would try to get her ready for school in the morning. And it's crazy. She would take a shower at night. It would look fine. She would go to sleep. And when I would go to wake her up in the morning, it was crazy. It was insane. Seen the movie Predator? It was like that. It was crazy. And I would think to myself, what happened during the night? And I would start to brush it, and the more I would brush it, the bigger it would get. And I would think, why is this happening? Days in which the humidity here in Louisiana was up high, it would even be crazier. So as a scientist, I started thinking, I wonder what's causing this. And I reached out to friends and asked what kind of things I could try. We did over-the-counter products. Nothing seemed to work. The few things that did work only worked until the next time she shampooed her hair, so nothing was a good solution that lasted. And Then there were the options of keratin straightening treatments at the salon. I thought, okay, well, let's find out about this. So I began to research it, and I wasn't comfortable exposing a 12-year-old to the toxicity profile of something that uses active ingredient of formaldehyde or other aldehydes, heat of up to 450 degrees, and my 12-year-old wasn't going to sit still in a chair for 4 or 5 hours for a treatment that costs $300 to $700. So I was working in the Arctic Circle at the time, so I got some books on interlibrary loan about the anatomy, chemistry, and morphology of hair, and thought, if I can teach myself about hair and I can understand why it's getting frizzy, I can come up with a chemical solution for it. So that led into me reaching out to pharmaceutical companies and personal care companies and getting samples, testing them on her hair for many months, screaming, crying, and gnashing of teeth. And then we had a breakthrough, and that was the birth of this. So we have continued to refine and improve our products, and we're going to be continuing to come out with new products. So the result and the love that we get from you guys has just been overwhelming, and so thank you so much. My 14-year-old is not that happy about being the center of attention of the origin story from this, but welcome to teenage years. Next question is from Robin. I was skeptical, but does it help the crazy, wiry gray hair? I use the shampoo and conditioner daily. Good. I know you said every few days to wash your hair, but if I spend time outside, it's daily washing. Will this practice make my hair heavier? Easy answer, quick answer is no, it won't, because it's designed to work on the chemistry of your hair, not to be something that just coats your hair. But the reason that I suggest that you don't shampoo your hair more than 3 times a week is the natural oils that your scalp make are spread along the hair over time. So the act of brushing, you're moving your hands through it, just the act of simply it being excreted at the scalp. These natural oils are really good for your hair at a certain amount. They keep water out, which is critical and key. They add shine, they add manageability, they keep the hairs from rubbing next to each other and creating static flyaways. So shampooing your hair every day is not a great idea in that you're stripping these oils away. I get it that if you're working out every day, you're sweaty, you may want to consider taking a shower and just using your fingers to mechanically massage your scalp and dissolve the salt, dissolve some of the oil, wash it away. But if you do need to shampoo your hair every day, please use a product like Lubricity Q shampoo, because it's got very gentle cleansers in it, and it's not going to strip all of the oils out of your hair. So it is going to leave some behind, and that's key, because if you strip all the oils away, your body will respond by producing more at the scalp, and the result of this is oily and greasy hair. So women tell me I have to wash my hair, shampoo my hair every day because otherwise it's oily. If you were to give yourself a weekend and not shampoo your hair, your body would respond by dialing back the amount of oil and sebum that it produces. And then when you do actually wash your hair after that weekend, you use Q shampoo, you'll find that you're going to be able to go a few days between washes because your body's not going to overreact and overproduce that. With regard to the gray hair that you're experiencing, the fact that it's getting more crazy and wiry, certainly as we age, we lose pigment in the hair becomes grayer. With the pigment missing from the hair, in general, gray hair is going to be more porous. So that means it's able to pull moisture in from the air more readily. It's more thirsty for the moisture. It has a higher absorption to moisture in the air. So that's why gray hairs tend to be more wiry and frizzy and out of control. So the lubricity system is designed to reduce the porosity of your hair and to prevent moisture from going in by a fancy word called hydrophobicity, which means to repel water. So using our product, which is either the treatment, which is the nuclear option for it, and then the shampoo and conditioner, because this is a system, it's designed to work together, this is going to increase the hydrophobicity of your hair, which means it's going to prevent moisture from coming into your hair. Your hair will not absorb as much moisture. One thing that we see from many of our clients that report about this is after using the treatment and then continuing with the Q shampoo and Q condition is that when they do get out of the shower, their drying time is almost half. So because your hair is now more hydrophobic, hydrophobic. It doesn't absorb the water. Your hair dries much faster. So what you may experience is when you get out, you may find that the towel that you have around your neck is much wetter than normal because the water is not in your hair, it's on the surface of the hair, and then it's going to sheet off and be much easier, more easily removed with the towel. So again, gray hair is more porous. This is a perfect product for graying hair because it will make it more hydrophobic and therefore less wiry. It won't make it heavy either. As I was saying before, unlike the majority of wet products, shampoos and conditioners, these are things that coat the hair kind of like wax on a car, and our products don't do this. These chemically interact with the hair and then they wash away. So if you have fine, limp hair, this product is not going to make it heavier or more limp. It's actually going to aid with this. Next question is from Julie. How long does the treatment last? Well, this varies depending on what your hair type is like, but typically it's 3 to 6 months. And the reason that we kind of give this bracket of 3 to 6 months is if you're someone who has virgin hair that just happens to be frizzy and you don't do chemical treatment, you don't color your hair, you don't perm it, etc., you don't use a lot of heat on it, then you're going to be more on the 6-month end of this. If you're someone who does color treat every 4 to 6 weeks, the act of doing that is lifting the cuticles, so the treatment is going to last less long, so more on the 3-month end of this. But it's critical also if you are coloring your hair that you do the lubricity treatment after the color, not before. Because as I said, the act of coloring your hair lifts the cuticle, so using the lubricity treatment immediately after, ideally you would do it in the salon, but if not, the next day or that day, the act of using the lubricity treatment is going to lay that cuticle back down and make the hair much shinier. It's going to repair the damage from the color treatment. And what we have seen is that using lubricity after a color makes the color last about 40% longer. So that's certainly not at the roots, but it's in the mid-shaft and tips. It's key that for the best results, of course, is, again, I designed this as a system for my daughter. So there's the treatment, and then there's the shampoo and the conditioner. These maintain the results. They're critical and key. You have to use the Q shampoo and the Q condition because it's all designed to work together. Next question is from Lindsay H. Does this product work by sealing the hair? Okay, so I mentioned this previously, but with the analogy of a car and wax on it, no, this is not something that blocks frizz by coating the exterior, and it's not acting as a sealant. This is actually changing the chemistry of your hair. The protein in the hair, which is keratin, among a few others, is when the cuticle is up, the keratin has spaces in it, so it wants to absorb moisture. The reason that we have cuticles is to keep that moisture out and keep the hair shiny and to not rub against the adjacent hairs. So this is a treatment that changes the chemistry and then washes away. It does not act as a sealant. With sealants, the issue would be buildup, because every time you put a layer of wax on the car over and over and over, you're eventually going to have dulling from light being reflected and also kind of a waxy buildup. So our products don't produce these because, again, we're acting on the protein structure, on the chemistry of the hair, and then washing away. So it's not a sealant. It's not a top coat. Next question from Angel. I live in Baton Rouge and actually hadn't heard about lubricity until one of my good friends sent me a link last weekend. I'm a woman of color and went from relaxed hair with keratin and other chemicals to now fully curly natural hair that frizzes. Will lubricity moisturize my hair as well as help manage and tame the frizz and thickness of my hair? Thank you, Angel. Welcome. And you asked if it would moisturize your hair. Let me be clear. I've been talking about what a bad player water is. So moisturize is a marketing buzzword. You don't want your hair moisturized. So moisture going, and you probably know this if you've ever gone diving into a swimming pool and then felt how difficult your hair was to deal with once you got out, because the water is absorbed into the hair swells, that cuticle is up, it starts breaking it in other spots. Water is a bad thing for your hair. So it's great for washing the surface of it, but you don't want it inside the hair. There are lots of studies done on our active ingredient, which comes from green apple skins, and it was done in various ethnicities, so African descent, Asian descent, European descent, and Latino descent, and the most dramatic results of all are in African descent hair. And from a chemistry standpoint, the chemistry of all ethnicities is the same. It's the structure of how those cuticle layers are put together that varies by race. So because of the way African descent hair is comprised of very few cuticle layers, therefore it's easier to be damaged and for water to get in, African descent hair has the greatest result from our product. So I really encourage you to give it a try. It's absolutely going to help with your manageability. It's going to dramatically increase the richness of the color in your hair. The frizz will be a thing of the past. If you are someone who uses heat to style your hair, then you can use a lower heat to achieve that. For instance, if you wanted to straighten your hair would be straight until the next time you washed it. But if you wanted to keep your natural curl, you would just let it air dry or twist and dry, and you'd still have rich, beautiful, frizz-free curls. And also, Angel, if you want to check out our website, we've got some before and afters of various ethnicities with before and after pictures, and you can see kind of the results of what to expect. Our next question is from Lindsay B. My question is regarding buildup. I currently use a well-known curly hair no poo system, but end up with buildup on my scalp. Not dandruff, but a heavy waxier buildup. Just wondering what your thoughts on that would be and how the lubricity system addresses the issue of buildup. Thanks. So for those of you not familiar with no poo, that refers to the act of not using shampoo to wash your hair. So washing your hair with something like a conditioner, or God forbid, sometimes people use vinegar or baking soda or concoction to do it. Please don't do this. This is dangerous for your hair and for your scalp and for your skin. And you wouldn't want to get in your eyes either. But as I mentioned before, lots of these products are using things that are conditioners that are like wax on a car. They're just designed to fill in damaged cuticle areas, to fill in gaps. And the problem with that is that if you don't wash it out with a shampoo, then the next time you put it on, you're just putting one on top of the other. And these conditioners are magnets to dirt. So you've now coated over a layer of dirt. This is probably the waxy buildup that you're experiencing. Our Q shampoo is used as very gentle, all naturally derived surfactants. And it has an agent in it that specifically is designed to work with the Q condition. The Q condition is a great conditioner. It deals with the chemistry of the hair and then washes away. There still can be some buildup of a small amount on the hair, but the Q shampoo has an agent in it specifically designed to remove this buildup. So by using Q shampoo with the Q condition, you'll never have buildup. So again, we recommend now before people do the treatment that prior to doing the treatment, they wash their hair with the Q shampoo to remove any buildup that you may have gotten from any other subpar products that could leave a buildup behind. So yes, our products do not leave buildup, so you don't have to have an issue with this. Next question is from Laurie. Are the ingredients safe? I got a keratin treatment once and was horrified to learn that it contained formaldehyde. After that, I refused to expose myself to the harsh chemicals that could be detrimental to my health and that of the hairstylist. I endured the frizz in the humid South Louisiana. Ugh. I feel your pain. And you know, I looked into that with my daughter and I wasn't comfortable with the formaldehyde. Then there are other new keratin straightening treatments out that tout themselves as being formaldehyde free, when actually what they contain is a group of compounds called aldehydes that when you heat them, they turn into formaldehyde. So that's really just a marketing thing to be able to say you don't have formaldehyde on the label, but when you heat it, it actually is turning into formaldehyde. As I said, all of our products, I designed these for my 12-year-old, so everything is of the utmost safety because I didn't want to put anything dangerous on her hair. So when I originally designed this, I chose the highest quality ingredients. Cost was not an issue. I wanted things that were going to work for her, but were going to absolutely be safe. So the surfactants that are in our Q shampoo are derived from things like coconut, palm nuts. The treatment itself is actually comprised of silk proteins, and the active ingredient is derived from raw green apple skins. So yes, all of our ingredients are safe and also highly effective, because some of these agents are used in other products, other brands, but you'll find that they're used at things like 0.1%, whereas in our products, we may use them at 10 or 15%, because I found that that was the kind of concentration that was needed to get results. So you do not have to endure the frizz of humid South Louisiana anymore. We can help you. This was from Megan. I have natural wavy and spiral curly and frizzy hair. My hair is coarse, but it doesn't get oily at all. Every product out there seems to dry out my hair, which leaves my scalp dry, which makes it itch and flake, which is embarrassing. Will your shampoo and conditioner work on my dry, itchy scalp and curly, frizzy hair? Absolutely. So I mentioned the raw ingredient, the active ingredient in our treatment, and what's also in the Q condition, all part of the system, comes from raw apple skins, and it's glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is an alpha hydroxy acid. You guys are probably familiar with that in a lot of skincare products, things that you put on your face. These are things that allow the skin to turn over at a faster rate. So dermatologists use this agent all the time to treat skin, as well as for chemical peels at very high concentrations. So using this and using it on your scalp, it's going to treat your scalp. So we're seeing things like dandruff being resolved, seborrheic dermatitis being resolved, these type of issues. So it's certainly not going to exacerbate it, and in most cases will likely dramatically help you. Also with your frizzy hair, as we talked about, these are the agents that are going in and making the hair more hydrophobic. They're preventing moisture from being absorbed, and they're also laying the cuticle down. So all the issues that you're asking about here are dealt with our products. And the shampoo is very gentle, so it keeps your natural oil. So instead of it being stripped away with a harsh shampoo, you'd want to use something like the Q shampoo that's going to keep your natural oil. And also, if your hair is feeling dry, our Q conditioner, which is made with coconut oil and shea butter. This is something that you could experiment with, using it either as a leave-in conditioner for your hair, or maybe you leave it in for several hours and then wash it out, or sleep in it and wash it out the next day. Whatever works for you, depending on how dry your hair is. But what I think you'll find is, after a few uses of it, you're going to find that your hair is not dry anymore, your scalp's in great condition, and you can dial it back to just using it when you shampoo and condition your hair, and maybe you don't have to leave it in. Okay, next question is from Jenna. Can lubricity extend the life of a keratin treatment? No, it can't. Our product is a smoothing treatment, it is not a straightener. The keratin treatments are straightening treatments, and they literally laminate the hair. And also, we talk about keratin. Keratin is what's naturally in our hair and our fingernails. When you get a keratin treatment, that is keratin from another source that's being added to your natural keratin and then fused with heat and formaldehyde to laminate. And I don't know if you've ever thought about maybe where that keratin comes from, and any of you that are practicing vegans may want to know this, that the keratin and keratin straightening treatments comes from chicken feathers, mainly, but they're animal sources of keratin. So it's animal sources of keratin that are added to your hair, then fused with heat and using the formaldehyde to facilitate the reaction, made to laminate your hair. So our product, as I mentioned before, is something that's changing the chemistry. So if you had a keratin straightening treatment and then tried to use our product, this fact that your hair has been laminated, our product can't make its way into the core protein of your hair. And depending on how many of these you've had, it could be damaged so badly from the keratin straightening treatments and the high heat that it's not going to be much there to be able to be repaired. So if you are someone who's had a keratin treatment and you want to go away from the dark side and come to use the Lubricity products, you need to let that keratin wear out. So basically, I tell people, the next time you feel like you're due for a keratin treatment, then is time when you would want to try the Lubricity system. Next question from Aurora. She's one of our ground floor customers. Started with us from the beginning. Thank you, Aurora. Great big thank you to Dr. Clark and Lubricity Labs staff. It's been 5 months since my treatment, and my hair has survived this treacherous South Texas heat and humidity. I am most content. My question is, will brushes and combs be added for purchase? So many different types of hair. Your treatment is helping. Adding the corresponding hairbrush comb will further assist in keeping my scalp and hair healthy. Aurora, thank you. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you to say these nice things and to ask this, but you don't need an expensive comb. If you're using the Lubricity system, that is just what's going to make your hair stronger, healthier, and frizz-free. So this is a comb I picked up for 99 cents, and the key for a comb is that you want to be using a wide tooth comb, not a fine tooth comb. And the reason is, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast or going live, is the mechanical damage of you pulling the comb through your hair. When you do a fine tooth comb, it's separating it into such small sections that you're doing damage to the hair. So you want to be gentle and to use a wide tooth comb when you do it. So we don't make any and don't have any plans to, and you don't really need anything fancy and expensive. Anything that's wide tooth will certainly work for you. And also be careful when you're towel drying to be gentle. You know, it's important to maybe blot the hair, squeeze the hair, no rough back and forth, because this is causing the hairs next to each other just physically rub the cuticle back and forth and peel the cuticle away. Next question is from Eileen. After washing, does it matter what type of towel is used, microfiber or cotton? So it's interesting that you asked this question, Eileen. I was just recently reading about this in some textbooks yesterday about mechanical damage to hair. So it's not the fabric that you're using, whether it be microfiber or cotton, it's how aggressively you're doing it. Because if you think about it, the fabric's really just touching the outer surfaces of your hair. It's the hair itself that the aggressive toweling rubs against each strand. So that's the damage. So whereas maybe a microfiber towel may absorb more water more quickly for you, that probably could be convenient and a plus. It's not going to really be an effect with regard to how the damage is to the hair. That's going to be caused by the hairs rubbing against each other. And also that's frizz that can be fixed. You know, that type of damage, the cuticles get pulled back so far and are so damaged, they actually fall off. In the experiment that I was reading about yesterday that we're planning on replicating, there were tresses of hair that were rubbed mechanically with the towels, aggressively towel dried, and then the hair was submerged into a beaker of water, and then it was repeated back and forth, and then after not long, the two beakers, the clear water that didn't have hair dipped in it, was compared to the one that was aggressively towel dried, and it was cloudy because of all the cuticles that were floating in the water. So it was showing how they had been physically stripped and ripped away from the hair. So be gentle with your hair. Next question is from Anna. Why didn't it work better? I wanted to be sure to address this one because certainly various people have many varying different hair types, and your results are going to vary. But I want to emphasize potential things of why Anna maybe felt like it didn't work as well as you thought it did. The first one is, you know, I'm a scientist. I developed this as a scientific endeavor, and it's a treatment that is meant to be followed really to the letter. So please, when you guys purchase the treatment and prepare to do it, whether you're doing it yourself or you're going to a salon to have it done, make sure that you're following the instructions to the letter, that you're sectioning your hair, you're applying it such that all the hair is fully saturated, because step one of the treatment is called penetrate, because it penetrates into your hair will absorb it, then you're to continue to apply it until the hair is soaking, sopping wet. So it's critical for it to be applied fully and then left on for the full amount of time. You don't wash it out, you apply step two, those two chemically interact on your hair, and then you wash this away. And after doing so, you cannot go to other shampoos and conditioners. This is all designed to work as a system. So the Q shampoo and the Q conditioning are like mini treatments. So every time you shampoo and condition your hair, you're reinforcing the treatment and you're treating the new growth so that you don't get a line of demarcation growing out. So please follow directions explicitly. Always follow the system, and please reach out to our customer love team, because they can help you troubleshoot this and find out potentially why this didn't work for you as well as you'd hoped it would. But I want to be sure that I address this to make sure that we are here to help. We want everyone to be a success. So our next question, our last question, is from Carolyn. I love your products. Are you working on any styling products? Actually, yes. I've actually been in the lab the last couple of months working on styling products, and hopefully we'll be releasing several before the end of the year. So please stay tuned, and we'll certainly be announcing that. Okay, time for the giveaway. So we had almost 200 people send questions in to win one of our box systems. So we are now going to pick who that's going to be. Again, you don't have to be watching, but if you do, watching live, but when you do hear your name, please message us on Facebook to claim your prize. And the winner is Angel Lynn. I think Angel had the question that I read, so great. Congratulations, Angel. And again, our customer love team is going to respond to all the questions that you guys posted, so if yours wasn't answered, it will be online. And thank you for tuning in, and please come back next week when we talk more about the science of hair.
We had one live question.
We had a live question just come in. Let me see what it is. If you have thick hair, is one box enough? So the box treatment is currently supplied with 2 4-ounce bottles, so a 4-ounce penetrate and a 4-ounce encapsulate, and that's been designed for average length hair, so a woman with the below shoulder length hair. So if you have shorter hair, then you're probably not going to use the entire bottle, but if you've got hair to this length, to your shoulder, it should be enough. We are in the process of redesigning that box where we're going to increase the size of that so it is applicable for people with longer hair. But if you've got hair past your shoulder blades, you may need more than just the one box. But if you want to send a photo of yourself in to our customer love team, they will be glad to assist you and make a recommendation on it.
Last question, are you wearing pants or shorts? I'm
wearing jeans today, but thanks. Thanks for the inquiry, and thanks for the shorts, love. I appreciate it, and I'll talk with you guys next week. Thanks a lot. See ya.